What's going on, guys? TKD 1 2 the review, and say we have not heard a lot about Dreamville, right? Dreamville Records, J. Cole's infamous label that has plenty of heavy hitters, plenty of great voices, a particular group of people and artists that I absolutely adore and love overall. And it's been a minute since we've heard anything from them at all, and here we are. We're back, off of J. Cole's album back in December, right? It took we got a few months off, but now we have a brand new artist here in the fold out of Dreamville, and it is somebody that I feel that we should all be looking out for, even if the debut project isn't, the best thing in the world. And here we are, we're going to be reviewing J.I.D's The Never Story. Now, I want to speak a little bit in terms of Dreamville as a whole, right? Now, with Dreamville, right, I feel we have a pretty straightforward formula to how they do what they do there, right? And you can, agree, you can disagree, but at least this is what I feel breaking down Dreamville, what it is to, in essence, that all the artists share in common, right? They have a great instrumental, and they have deep lyrics. Now, like these deep lyrics are not just ad-libs or just innuendos. There's depth to everything that is coming out of Dreamville. There's depth in Boz, there's depth in Omen, Ari Lennox, of course J. Cole, and there's just overall a sense of not just surface level lyrics. People argue with good old J. Cole about it nowadays, but that's beside the point. J. Cole, I'll admit, a little bit less on this on this new release, but beside the point. Overall, I can say in an overall consensus that that is basically the formula of Dreamville, right? You get really good instrumentals, you get deep lyrics, and that equals a Dreamville project, period. And over here, I feel like with J.I.D, right, the only person that I feel is kind of comparable to him within Dreamville, I would say, is Kaz, right? They both have similar sounds, both have a similar, I guess, trap-esque way of rap, where it's a little bit fast-paced, it's a little bit kind of loose, it's not really in a formulaic kind of verse. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at here, where it's kind of a little bit more off the hinges. It's a little bit more of a trap-esque type of rap to it, and I feel like they both have a lot of comparable attributes to them as well. And with that sense, when you get those two, right, you still get the great instrumentals of Dreamville overall, right? You get the great beats, you get the great flow, you get everything that you get with a Dreamville beat on the instrumental side of things. But when it goes into terms of lyrics, that's when things get a little bit forgettable, things get a little bit off the base, and things don't really sound as Dreamville as I guess it should technically. And honestly, just to be blunt about it, these two are artists that I don't really see myself attaching to a lot in the future right now. In terms of Kaz, I am a Kaz fan, I'm not afraid to say that, but I'm not as big as a Kaz fan as I would say Boz or Omen or Ari Lennox. With Ari, a little bit less, just because she's pretty relatively new here. But mainly speaking in terms of Omen and Boz, like I love Omen and Boz far more times than Kaz. I would rather get an album from Omen or from Boz way more than Kaz, and I feel like J.I.D is gonna fall into that same type of level with me with Kaz, where he's good, right? He's a commendable artist. There is stuff to like on this that we're gonna talk about and discuss here in the review going on. But I feel like going on looking in terms of the future of J.I.D, I feel like he's gonna definitely fall into that skew of Kaz for me personally. Now, the album The Never Story, it has 12 songs, it's 40 minutes long, so it's a pretty decent amount of it seems like a pretty high track list and high song list for only 12 songs. I could be based on that, but it kind of feels like this album, and really honestly, when you look at the album and when you actually listen to it, it does feel longer than 40 minutes. It does definitely feel longer than 40 minutes. I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe that's just how my commute goes, but I feel like this album runs a lot longer than 40 minutes. I feel like it even feels like maybe over an hour. Maybe that's just me obviously being dumb, because it's clearly 40 minutes. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. So the album consists of audio cues throughout the album, right? There are different points where people are talking, there's different phone calls happening. It's kind of like as if J.I.D was trying to tell a story, or try to tell the Never Story, I guess is what he was trying to portray here in this album. But honestly, for me, I felt like the story definitely does not come across really at all. I feel like the different audio cues that are within the album, they seem very random. They seem like like they have no context to them in a way. They seem like it's definitely hidden, a lot of things, where as opposed to we listen to Big Sean's I Decided, that story is straightforward. Like, you can clearly listen to what's going on, you can clearly understand what is happening, without that much need of, that much digging or that much thought, and I feel like that's really, I guess, how, anyone should do it in a way, like, I feel like if you're trying to portray something, you should, make it somewhat of a way that somebody can grasp, in its, 5 or 10 album. Like, I listened to this album like for maybe 5 days straight. Like, I've listened to this album a ton over these past few days, and I can even try and give you a message or give you an underlying tone or give you, a underlying theme, I guess, that matches the Never story and matches the overall cohesiveness flow of the entire album and project. So I feel like, definitely the story that I assume he was trying to portray, that, he was trying to, give to his listeners, I feel like definitely does not come across as smoothly as I guess he would want to. And really, touching on it from a song-to-song basis, I feel like this album, is very, very much peaks and valleys, like, where there are a lot of tracks that I love and adore, and there's plenty of tracks, that are comparable in quantity or even, more so, that I feel fall flat for me, right? That's just where I'm at now, where it's like I'm just conflicted. I feel like, I want to commend this album for the great strongs that, we're going to go over here in a little bit, and then I want to also kind of, knock it down some points for the not so great, not so, good sounding songs as well. Like, this album definitely does have both of those things going on for it. On the list of the more memorable tracks, tracks that are great in a way, Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's a very simple track, it's not anything crazy, but it's a nice cruise song. It's a nice put your windows down in the springtime and just roll around blasting this song. It's catchy, what I'm saying? It's a funny track, especially if you know the show Ed, Edd n Eddy. You're gonna absolutely understand this whole thing, understand that kind of, not that mob, but that, bond that kind of bond mentality, with a group of friends, where that's just how it rolls. Like, when you guys link up, when the squad links up, it's just how it is. Like, you guys just go and do your thing. That's kind of like the vibe I get with the song. So definitely is a great song on this project. And throughout the entire album, we get the underlining kind of trap rap type of feel, where it's very much kind of like that Cause type of sound to it. If you guys are familiar with Cause, or familiar, I guess, with trying to maybe a little bit, I guess, a hint of Kendrick, not Kendrick's, I don't know, intellect or themes, but a little bit like Kendrick in a way. I would say just a tiny bit. If you want to just get a little bit of comparisons going on, I wouldn't fully compare them two at all, but I would say a little bit, dash of Kendrick in there. But then we get towards the middle of the album. We get two tracks here. We get Hereditary and All Bad. Now, these two tracks, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with these two tracks, but these tracks are absolutely amazing. And it's weird because these tracks are basically R&B tracks. It's J.I.D singing on these tracks. I'm saying, well, not so much All Bad, but more in terms of Hereditary. He's definitely using an R&B sound and 100% singing in this track, and it sounds great. It sounds dope. Like, it is by far the two best tracks on this project by a mile. Like these two tracks are amazing, and it's so weird to have this project where it just feels like there's so many just fall flat songs, forgettable songs that you're gonna just forget tomorrow, and then we have these two standout tracks that are just absolutely amazing. It just feels very, very weird to go through this album and like love those two, but then hate, not hate, but not be so hot about the rest of the album going forward. And throughout this album, we have a little bit of features here, not too many. We have 3 mainly. We have Earth Gang, which I guess is a group that was on stage with Dreamville and everything a few months ago. I'm not sure what they sound like, as opposed to the track that they were on here in the project, and I felt that it's pretty good. And there's also an artist called Mariba, which is absolutely another great feature on the track. It's nice to have a kind of a mix of these things, or we have a group, we have different artists here. Like, it's nice mix. Nothing, there's really we're nothing to complain about here. And then we get the best feature, I feel, of the entire album and track and overall project, and that is Black. Now Black, of course, has been on a lot of things lately. He has a track with J.I.D now. He's on tour with The Weeknd. He put out his debut, which was I feel great in a way, and overall he really is kind of branching out into a lot of things, and I'm happy to see him just go in a lot of spaces and a lot of different things here in the industry. And also I like how he's not only sticking to those big artists where he could just basically ride it out and ride up his career 100% to the top with being on The Weeknd, J.I.D, maybe have a track with Drake at some point. Like he can just easily go and partner up and do work with higher people in the industry. But here he is on a brand new artist's debut album, and it is just great to see that he's also branching out to even people lower than him, as of this point. So very do appreciate that as well from Black, and I can't wait to see where he goes as well. And the track that Black is on, 8701, man, he freaking kills. He kills that feature. Black is a great feature. Like, he is kind of like the new Drake, really. When it not hold on, just don't get me on that. I'm talking about features wise, how Drake consistently kills features, and he has not killed a feature yet. Granted, he's only done a few, but all the features that he's done has been top notch. So definitely Black is out there killing it on the features, and especially he does kill it here in J.I.D's The Never Story as well. And then of course the album ends with a track called Louder, which again I love. It's very much one of those kind of vibey tracks that you can just play in the background and just take you on the way. I definitely like it. But overall, this album leaves me kind of in a crossroads here, where there are tracks that I love, there are tracks that I don't feel so hot about, and it kind of just equals it out into a good project. Like, it's good. I'm not gonna say it's horrible, I'm not gonna say it's bad, I'm not gonna say that, because I feel like it's honestly not bad, but it's just that there's just a lot of really good tracks, and when you get tracks that are really good mixed with really forgettable tracks that aren't necessarily bad but just forgettable, you get a good project. And that's basically kind of the verdict of this entire thing. I really cannot wait to see what J.I.D does again here in the future. I can't wait for him to grow as an artist, maybe polish his ability, and see what else he creates here in the future going on with Dreamville. And I feel like Dreamville is a perfect fit as well for him. But just going on, I hope that we get more interesting stuff from him. I feel like we will, honestly. And so that was my verdict on J.I.D's The Never Story. And if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, make sure to love what you're viewing me. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.